What creates a tipping point in society? It's a question worth sitting with. Because when we look ahead 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, we can't help but wonder, what will our country look like? Who will be leading? How will we be treating one another? And what kind of future will we have handed to the next generation? Now, when you picture that future, do you feel hope? History tells us that progress doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't arrive overnight. It happens when people decide, often quietly and often courageously, that the future is worth taking responsibility for. A society reaches a tipping point when it takes responsibility for who will lead next. And that's what I've learned in my 28 years of working with youth and leadership development. See, leadership doesn't appear out of thin air. It is formed, it is shaped, and it is nurtured over time through relationships, guidance, and the belief that potential is worth developing long before it seems obvious. And here's the truth we don't always like to confront. The moment a kid becomes someone else's problem, a society begins to fail. When responsibility is outsourced and when belief stops short of action and really investment, when we convince ourselves that the challenges are too complex or too distant or too great, despair fills the gaps. And despair is persuasive. It tells us nothing we do will matter, that the mountain is too steep, that the work isn't worth the cost. But despair has always been wrong. Every meaningful leap forward in our history has come from people who refused to believe that the next generation was a lost cause. People who bet on human potential, and specifically on young people. People who chose responsibility over resignation. As society reaches a tipping point when it moves from believing every kid has worth to investing in them accordingly. Not with quick fixes, not by controlling them, but with presence, with time, with adults who show up day after day and say, you matter. And you already have everything you need to be successful. That's where Elevate comes in. Elevate exists because we believe the future of our nation is being shaped right now, in classrooms, hallways, cafeterias, and in our communities. We believe that the most powerful way to change the outcome is to form leaders before they're ever asked to lead. Through teacher mentors, trusted adults embedded in public schools, Elevate builds long-term relationships with students during the years when identity, character, and direction are being formed. Not to control them, not to manage them, but to walk alongside them as they grow into who they are capable of becoming. Make no mistake, this is not charity. This is leadership development at a national scale. Because when young people are seen, known, and heard, loved, they don't just succeed individually, they change the trajectory of their families, schools, and communities for generations. And that's the vision. A future shaped by leaders who were invested in early. A country strengthened by people who were never written off. A society that chose hope, not as a feeling, but as a responsibility. History is asking something of us, and the future depends on what we decide to do together right now. The question is not whether the next generation has potential. The question is whether we will take the responsibility for it, because every kid is truly worth it.